Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. And salutations to the sincere Akim and Aquathemian. Listen, may the blessing of election be over your house. My name is Brother Raquai. I'm back in here with another lesson. And for today's lesson, hang on. Today's lesson is going to be Emancipation Month, slavery, and the birth certificate, right? So, I was just watching TV earlier today, and then I saw a few of our people on TV, talking about August is Emancipation Month, right? And I have in the title it says history, but what I'm really gonna do is dive more into the legal side of it and giving you an understanding, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai, that slavery has never really and truly ended. It's just revamped even up to this day, right? Because the point that our people, especially like on TV, these celebrities, they think that slavery has ended, right? But the slavery that we went through, in different captivities, going back as far back as Egypt, you have to understand that, that slavery never ended. It just recycled, and it just became into a contractual, into legal binding documents up to this day, right? So, as a matter of fact, because I brought up the point about examples of past versions of slavery, let's go to Exodus really quickly. Okay, so this is Exodus chapter 1, verse 13, and it reads, "And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and made their lives bitter with hard bondage, and in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All of their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor," right? So this was, our captivity under that Pharaoh, the Pharaoh that rose up that did not know about Joseph, right? So I just wanted to establish that because, that same slavery has now revamped into today's society in America and in the West, right? So, as a matter of fact, before I continue, let's get the word emancipation so we have an idea of what the words that we're using, right? So, emancipation, it says, noun, a setting free. Let's see down here. In modern use, especially of the freeing of minor from parental control, specifically in reference to U.S. slavery from 1785. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued July 22nd, 1862, effective January 1st, 1863. Right? So when people hear about this word emancipation, they associate it with this particular document. But the point of this lesson is to actually give you Israelites, you hopefully like to actually get an understanding that slavery has never vanished. We're still under slavery, and that is other kinds of contractual and even legal binding slavery, right? Through these different, contracts and the birth certificate, like I'm going to get into, right? So, okay, so now that we've got that, let's get I have an article here I always wanted to read shortly, right? So we can get more of an understanding of what's going on. Okay, so just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so this is from hubpages.com, and Strawman, why is your name in all caps? I only use caps for the first letter of my name, right? So let's see. So down here it says, do you ever write your name in all capital letters? Why does everything associated with the government spell your name in all capital letters? Is that proper English? Proper nouns, such as your name, should only be spelled with the first letter capitalized only. That's right. So normally when we write something, it's normally, okay, if your name is, John, you write the J, and then OHN are in lowercase, right? Okay, so down here it says corporations are spelled with capital letters. That is to write your name in all capital letters is a corporation set up for you by the United States Corporation. Another truth that is the federal government is a corporation. Do you know why the government is needed to set up corporations spelled as your name but in capitals? It is because no free-born American would ever trade their time and labor and energy for a currency with no value in and of itself. Corporations will accept fraudulent currency printed by the Federal Reserve, which is also a corporation in the line of Milton Bradley, which makes the monopoly game. Both corporations print money of equal value except for the Federal Reserve notes that are backed by the US people. If you notice any of the Federal Reserve notes, the paper is an instrument of debt only. Nowhere on the Federal Reserve note does it state that it could be used to accumulate wealth, right? So here is a copy of a birth certificate, right? So I'm just going to scroll, zoom in a little bit. So here it says, this certifies, and then you see the person's name in all caps, Denison Baker Hanson. And even down here, you can even see that the parents' name are in all caps, right? So these are the different devices that these rulers and these elites come up with, right? So let's get a scripture real quick before I continue. Okay, so this is Micah chapter 2 verse 1, and it reads, "Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. It is because it is in the power of their hand. They covet fields and take them by violence. Their houses shall take them away. So they what? Oppress a man and his house, and even a man and his heritage." Right, that's right. This is a version of oppression, because once what it does, that straw man, it becomes a legal version, like a carbon copy of you, but it's not you, right? So for example, you get a let's just say, for example, you run a red light, and then you get like a ticket or something like that in the mail. When you open the actual envelope, you realize it's documented to somebody who has the same name as you. However, the point is, it's a straw man version of you, so you become a representation of this quote unquote corporation, right, that has the same name as you, right? And this corporation as was created even going back to the first day you were born, because when you register a child, like I'm going to play quickly in this video, that corporation is created, right? And to take on payments, debts of that state, right? So it's a very covert way of slavery. Now that I'm trying to continue to explain this, right? Okay, so here it goes into the contractual part of the birth certificate. So what I want to do, I'm just going to skip down this, and I want to play this video quickly.
The government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it.
Right. So this is why it's very funny they brought up this point as well, because the terminology that they like to throw at you, trips up you people, right? Trips up your Israelites, right? So it's always like I firmly believe when the apostles and elders say to look up words, that is truly one of the this is a great superpower, so you don't get tripped up by these legal words and these buzzwords that they like to throw at you, right? They use a lot of what's that word they use normally? Uh Goodness, I don't remember, but it's jargon. There we go. Like all these different confusing language to trip you Israelites up, especially when it comes to different contracts, right? Let me get a quick scripture before I continue. Let's see. Okay. This is Colossians chapter 4, verse 6, and it reads, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ought to answer every man." Right. So this is very, very important, especially because it's always good to actually equip yourselves with the knowledge of these words. This is why we go into the Hebrew, the Greek, Latin, and even the etymology and the roots of a lot of these words, because through this is one of the things that they like to push, the media and Esau likes to push onto our people, whether it's on their TV or in their regular day use of language. They like to push these words always have a vibration, right? So it's always good to actually understand the jargon and the words that they actually use, right? So you don't get tripped up by it, right? Like a spider trapping up its prey in the web, right?
All spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really
As a matter of fact, let me just get that quick reference now that they mentioned Black's Law Dictionary. Let me just pull that up really quickly. I actually went through it earlier today. The definition of corporation. Okay, so this is the definition of corporation in the Black's Law Dictionary, the 6th edition, right? So here it says an artificial person or legal entity created by or under the authority of the laws of the state or nation, composed in some rare instances of a single person and his successors, being the incumbent of a particular oaths, but ordinarily consistent of an association of numerous individuals who subsist as a body under a special denomination. And it continues to go on, so I'll just stop there. But I just wanted to bring up that point really, really quickly. I just thought it was interesting because it actually says in the beginning an artificial person, right? So through this birth certificate, it actually creates an artificial person, a corporation of you, just to further solidify the fact that we are in contractual slavery, not an actual bondage. Well, bondage, yes, but not in a physical bondage, essentially. How Rataza, this video is edifying, right? Let's continue quickly.
Really say is, do you stand under our authority? Oopsie daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government. Did you know that whenever you register something, you are handing over title to the person you register it with? That's right. Whenever you register something with the government, they assume it belongs to them. Registered your car? Super! Now you are the registered keeper of your vehicle, and the government can crush it when you don't pay your, straw man's taxes. Expecting a new bundle of joy? Well, then you need to register your little darling with a birth certificate. Then they can start the process all over again and create a new straw man for your little one. Isn't that great? So when Junior grows up, he'll be able to generate revenue just like you have. When you notify on your baby by signing the...
So you see that, what they're explaining here is that when we have children and the child is born, they create this fictitious, corporation to represent this child. So this child would also be able to what? To actually, pay their dues in society, right? So although we don't have that kind of slavery that was present in Egypt, we still have to what? Pay these different contracts, these bills. We're subject to payments. As a matter of fact, let me just get that. I didn't get that yet. I think it's okay. This is Baruch chapter 3. Let me just start at verse 7, and it reads, "And for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity. For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee," right? So that's one of the reasons that we're in this position, is because, the sins of our forefathers and the sins that we've done in our past lives. That's why we're in this situation even today. Verse 8, it reads, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which have departed from the Lord our power." Right? So this is this is just to get more of an understanding that our slavery has just been revamped and become a bit more refreshed from this day. This year is 2023. It's not like how it used to be, on the plantation, picking cotton, it had just become revamped. Now we actually have like how do you call it? In America, I don't know what it's called in America, but in Canada, it's called like a SIN number, Social Security number. There we go. It's so we have these numbers, and then when we go into a work, we have these employee numbers, and it's the same concept when you actually look at, for example, the prison industrial complex, especially in America, because America is one of the leading countries when it comes to prison population, and then that version of slavery has also been revamped, because from not just being on the plantation anymore, there's actually private companies like Walmart, Whole Foods, Victoria's Secret, Starbucks, that profit from prison labor, right? So this idea of slavery has never been we haven't truly been abolished. slavery has never truly been abolished. It's just constantly revamped into all these different facets of our lives today, right? So that's the point I just wanted to make really quickly. Let's play a little bit more.
Signing the birth certificate, your child becomes a ward of state. And if the government doesn't like what you're doing, they'll assume it's okay to take the child away or make new rules for things they don't like. Not enough school? Smacking your child? Shouting too loudly? Then it's off to social services for the little one. When you get a bill, it's sent to you but belongs to your straw man, not you. That's why bills, fines, and summons start with Mr., Mrs., or Ms. Sometimes you'll see your surname in capitals, just like on a gravestone. That's because your straw man is dead and just a silly piece of paper, created before you could comprehend or even consent to it. When you go to court, you represent your straw man, so you, the human, take on any costs, fees, taxes, and fines involved for the straw man. The human you doesn't even need to pay them. But you made a contract with the court by appearing on behalf of your legal personality or straw man, just like the government knew you would. Confused? Well, don't worry. The government doesn't want you to know anyway. If you knew, you'd stop paying things like council tax and parking.
Right. So, it just furthermore, it just goes into all these different fees and all these different hidden payments that we have to make, towards the state. So it just goes to show that, slavery has never been, we never been really truly been emancipated. This is a more revamped version of slavery that we're continuously, living, to this day, right? So what I want to do is link the rest of this. I can link the rest of this in the description, and let's get back to the lesson really quickly. Okay, and this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way, I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondwomen, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Right? So this is also very, very important because, the Israelites, we never went back into Egypt, right? So this, further goes to show that America is also likened unto an Egypt, a spiritual Egypt, pursuing to Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, right? Because we will become spiritually dead, right? And another reason is, because we've lost the understanding of who we are, our heritage, culture, and the way we're actually supposed to conduct ourselves, right? So let's get okay, this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, and it reads, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which are they have prescribed," right? So this is going on to these different contracts and different loopholes that they use to actually keep our people, keep us in subjection, and keep us in slavery up to this day, right? A very good documentary, you brothers and sisters can also check out, is it's a documentary on Netflix called 13th, where the US government, they actually explain the 13th Amendment and how that was used to keep, Israelites, in subjection, right? So they go into, for starting off from slavery and then revamping to how a lot of private companies to this day that I mentioned earlier capitalize off of prison labor, paying them not even the minimum wage, but way, 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 way below that, right? So anyways, that I just wanted to bring that out and shed some light on these different hidden decrees that Esau normally creates, and people thinking into this idea that we're free. Just the idea alone of calling yourself that byword, that black, that is that shows that mentally you're still not free, right? And this also even applies to the Northern Kingdom as well, because recently, I'd gone to this event, and then I noticed that a lot of those Israelites, Gadites, they keep themselves reserved away from, the so-called black people, Judah and Benjamin and Levi, right? That slavery has never ended. It's just been revamped, and that slavery also continues in our minds up to this day. So, as a matter of fact, hold on, let me just end off with this one scripture, right? I think it's 32. Okay, so this is John chapter 8, verse 32, and Yahushua said, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Right? So, anyways, that is only by actually coming back to the Lord and actually getting more of an understanding of what's going on with our people and why our people are in this condition. That is going to give us some liberation, right? And we hope soon that Yahushua comes and actually fully liberates us, right? So anyways, that concludes the end of my lesson. But Yahweh Ratazah, this video was edifying. I know it's a bit long, but I wanted to make sure it was enlightening as possible. Anyways, I'd just like to close up and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. Until next time, I say, Shalom.